Back in Austin, Texas. Let's take a look at the women's team standings as we're starting to run out of events. USC now with an 8-point lead over Arkansas, but Arkansas has 2 opportunities to score here in the 5,000 meters. USC it does not. The only event they have remaining is the 4x400 meter relay. So let's just keep watching closely. The collegiate record in the 5,000 held by Jenny Behringer of Colorado, not Iowa State. And Ali Ostrander, fresh off her 3rd consecutive steeplechase victory back in the 5K.
75 minutes ago, mind you, in 94-degree heat.
Also coming back from that steeplechase, Devin Clark of Arkansas, who did score a point for them in the steeplechase. And then also back, but with a little bit more rest, Wayne Kaladi of New Mexico, who won the 10,000 meters on Thursday night, I should say. So 24 athletes, just like in every other event. This is the final. There was no semifinal. The semifinal was at the regionals. 12 from Jacksonville, 12 from Sacramento, and they are here. And as Jill mentioned, it is now down to 94 degrees at 7:25 p.m. local time.
What they've done that you might be able to see on the wide shot if we come back around on the middle of the home stretch, they've set up a table of water. So these athletes, once they kind of string out, there's some officials down there that will be handing them water. And on Thursday night, in the 10K, they did exactly that.
So J.C. Smith of Air Force, the senior, in the early lead. Winnie Kaladi there in 2nd. And let's get it down to Laura Overton.
I am with your heptathlon champion, Ashton. You crushed it earlier in the outdoor season on your home track. Before this meet, you talked about how special it was to compete in an NCAA championship on this track. But how even more special is it to win an NCAA title on your home track?
Oh my God, it's a dream come true. I didn't think it'd be possible or even like something I could do in the next 4 years here at Texas, but here I am. And it's just a dream come true. That's all I can say. It's words can't describe.
As you were bringing it home, there was a huge cheering section we have right over our shoulder. Your face is right there on the front row. Who are all these people who you have here supporting you?
It's family, friends. It's everybody who's supported my dream to come to Texas and be a successful athlete. And they mean the world to me, and I'm so glad they're here with me.
Congratulations on the championship, Ashton. Dwight and Jill.
All right, Laura, much deserved. We saw her back in March here at Texas Relays, just had a dream competition. The conditions were certainly much more conducive than they were today and yesterday, but she still pulls off a lifetime best and a new school record, 6,222 points. Congratulations to the Longhorn senior. All right, back to the 5,000 meters, where we have 10.5 laps-ish to go. J.C. Smith, the senior from Air Force, still leading from Wayne Kaladi. Taylor Werner of Arkansas, who scored for the Razorbacks in the 10,000 meters. 5 points for 4th place, is up there as well. And they are counting on her to get them some points in this race.
And her teammate, Devin Clark, also in this race for Arkansas. And back in the 60s and 70s, there was a big thing where everybody used to do training teams. Remember that? There was training teams, everybody trained together. And then in the 80s, 90s, early 2000s, elite distance runners, American distance runners across the board started training on their own with different coaches. Now, everybody's gone back to those training packs, and it's very advantageous to have teammates in a race like this because you train with them every day in practice, and having them in a championship race is a benefit. You can pull off of each other, draft off of each other, and talk throughout the race.
So with just a little more than 10 laps remaining in this 5,000 meters, we will step aside for a few moments. Back with more of our coverage of the 5,000 meters when we return to Austin. We are back in Austin, Texas, where it's 94 degrees and humidity in the 30s. Sun starting to set behind the football stadium. We are in the middle of the 5,000 meters, less than 8 laps remaining in that race. But yesterday we had a historic event in the men's championships when Grant Holloway of Florida broke Ronaldo Nehemiah's 40-year-old 110-meter hurdle record here at these championships. And we got a text immediately, or Jill got a text immediately that said from Ronaldo Nehemiah, 12:98. Wow. Well, she had a chance to speak to him on the phone earlier today.
First question I asked him, I said, what was your initial reaction when you heard the news?
I got a text from Alan Johnson, who I used to manage, and Alan said, "Did you see the race?" And I said, "No, I'm not in front of a TV." And then he just wrote 12:98, and I said, "You're kidding me? They did it? They actually did it." So I think I was not quite as excited as everyone who watched it in person, but after 40-some years, I was hoping that someone, especially Grant in this case, who we've heard about in the last couple of years, would be the one who did it. So, and more importantly, I was great that it was an epic race, meaning second place with Daniel Roberts at 13 flat, tying the record. That's the way it should have been done. Everyone on the edge of their seats, and so it was just bittersweet in one sense, because a part of me, maybe 1-2%, said, "Hey, we want to be immortalized forever," but I know records are meant to be broken.
When he finished the race, he crossed the line, crossed his arms, and then raised one hand to his ear like he was making a phone call, and everybody in the stadium was wondering, were you trying to dial into him? Was he calling you? What was that?
It's funny, because as soon as I hang up from you, I will be making that call to Grant to personally thank him. His coach, Mike Holloway, was kind enough to forward me his contact information so that I could congratulate him properly. But I don't know if he was thanking me. Maybe he's just calling up thanking God that it happened. But it's been long coming. It's long overdue. When you think about what I did in 1979, how impressive it was at that particular time, and it just shows everyone how hard the 13-second barrier still is to eclipse.
It was pretty incredible to talk to him, and I said there's been so many amazing elite hurdlers that have tried to break that record. World record holder Aries Merritt while he was at Tennessee, and the reigning gold medalist from the Olympics, Omar McLeod at Arkansas. They weren't able to do it, so it shows you how incredibly special Grant Holloway is, but also Daniel Roberts for tying that record.
Back in those days, Ronaldo Nehemiah had Greg Foster to push him. Grant Holloway has Daniel Roberts. You really need somebody in a race like that to push you. Okay, back to the 5,000 meters, where we have a little less than 5.5 laps remaining, and not a lot has changed. It's still J.C. Smith, the senior from Air Force. Now Taylor Werner of Arkansas up in second, and boy, do they need her points, because Devin Clark, her teammate who was doubling back from the steeplechase, has dropped out of this race. So Arkansas with only 1 point scoring opportunity in this 5,000. Wayne Kaladi there, the New Mexico sophomore, who is now into second place. She is there. She won the 10,000 on Thursday night. And Esther Gatahi of Alabama is also there in that group of about 7 athletes that have broken away.
This is the part of the race where you really have to start testing your speed and also start possibly taking up a little bit more speed. You want to ride it, you got to think about being a car, right? In order to have constant speed and good gas mileage, you have to be on a little bit of cruise control. But this part of the race is where you have to start separating yourself and just increasing that pace. Steady, not slow. It gets tougher. Your mental focus gets a little bit more dialed in, and this front pack has now done exactly that.
Counting heads once again, it's a pack of 8 up front that have broken away. There's probably 25 meters back to the chase group, so this is likely where your point scorers are going to come from. Now it's just a matter of when does Wayne Kaladi want to make a move. You notice that up in that front group, we do not see Ali Ostrander. 75 minutes ago, she won the steeplechase and was dubious about what kind of recovery she would have, and she is not up in that lead group.
She's far back in the back half of the race, but now right here, Wayne Kaladi, when she ran the 10,000, did exactly this. With 5 laps to go, now 4, she started breaking away a little bit and separating herself from the rest of the pack, as we see Ali Ostrander, and she is well off the pack, about 70 meters back.
Probably in about 12th or 13th place, maybe a little further back than that, but she put it all out there on the track. A lifetime best in the steeplechase, winning her 3rd consecutive. She has never lost a steeplechase race. Back to this race, though. Wayne Kaladi, the sophomore from New Mexico, fresh off that 10,000 meter race. As she grabs the second cup of water, gets that one successfully.
A lot of times you're just grabbing the water and you're just throwing it on yourself because it is 94 degrees out, but the heat index is about $103. So it is warm, not ideal conditions for a distance race. But this right here sets it up for Taylor Werner. She's currently running tied for third in the white jersey with the maroon bottoms. She stalks right there on the outside. I'd like to see her tuck back in so she's not running further difference than she needs to. And then Jessica Pascoe from Florida, she ran very well at the SEC championships also. Taylor Werner likes to stalk. She looks very comfortable. Look at the relaxed look on her face. She's got really, really good closing speed, and she is running pain-free for the first time in about a little over 21 months.
All right, with 3 laps remaining, let's go down to Laura Overton, who has a little bit more on Ali Ostrander.
Dwight had a chance to ask her coach, Corey Emmels, how they would address that just over an hour that they had in between events. He said they were immediately going to get the fluids back into her and get her legs up and elevated so that she could try and recover as best as possible. But he said it was going to take a very strong effort to not get her out on track. He said she was actually coming into this meet pretty determined that she was going to do the steeple and the 10K. That is how much she just loves to race and compete. But he said priority was on the steeplechase. Once we got out of that, we saw how quickly she could rebound. Then we would see what she has left in the 5K.
Speaking of that 10K, what people might not know, she actually has the fastest time collegiately in the 10K and chose not to run it. Great range for Ali Ostrander. She's got stamina, she's got speed, and she's got strength.
Wayne Kaladi continuing to lead. Second right now, held down by Esther Gatahi. Taylor Werner right there in fourth with Jessica Pascoe of Florida.
Dan Waters of Alabama has done a fantastic job with his women and men's distance. He had a great recruiting class a couple years ago, and it's starting to pay off. You're seeing a lot more Alabama women in the finals at these championships.
It's Danny Jones of Colorado there on the outside of lane 1, keeping herself out of trouble, but running a little bit longer distance. You know, each lane that you go out on the track, it's 8 meters longer. That's about 26 feet per lap. It can get a little bit, that adds up over the course of 12.5 laps.
Especially this is the part of the race where you just don't want to go bankrupt. You have to be efficient here. So making sure that you're not running any other outside distance and making this race longer. Either make a move, have a little short burst, and I mean short. You don't want to do 20-meter bursts here and there throughout the race because then you're expending too much energy. But if you're going to make one move, move it, make it, get tucked back in, and then just run efficient. J.C. Smith, who led most of the first half and more of the race, has been dropped off the back. So this group of 7 now has become 6. Taylor Werner from Arkansas now doing what she needs to do in order to get up and then get out of trouble and get back into lane 1. All right, coming around now to the bell. Taylor Werner takes the lead. Danny Jones of Colorado is there. Wayne Kaladi. Esther Gatahi also there. Josette Norris of Georgetown, but Taylor Werner doing the best she can to get as many points possible for Arkansas. It's already looking like this team title is going to come down to the final event, the 4x400 meter relay. Now it's a matter of how many points can Werner get for her Razorbacks. Just a sophomore, she was a 4-time SEC champion. She's been a couple indoor, a couple outdoor. This year, earlier at the indoor championships, she was second in the 3,000. She has been a workhorse for Lance Harder. They have dropped Wayne Kaladi, the 10,000 meter champion. She does not have a response. So it's between Taylor Werner, Danny Jones of Colorado, and Esther Gatahi of Alabama. Closing quickly, though, from Georgetown is Josette Norris. She's got a head of steam, but I think she's going to run out of real estate. Danny Jones now takes over. She's going to win it, but Werner is going to get second and score 8 for Arkansas. That is more than that was projected or expected. Esther Gatahi ends up third for Alabama, and Josette Norris of Georgetown gets fourth. Lady Kaladi gets fifth. So a first in the 10K and a fifth in the 5K for the New Mexico sophomore. Danny Jones of Colorado was the 2018 NCAA cross-country champion, and she just added another trophy to her case. 64.6 last 400 for Jones, and she needed all of it to win this. Big performance for the Razorbacks from Taylor Werner, though. Look at what we've got here. Ooh.
56-56, and they both have a relay team in the 4x400. So whoever finishes ahead of who will win the team title, and USC is the defending national champion. We love it when it comes down to the 4x4.
Yes, we do.
All right, we will step aside and get ready to finish the night with an exciting 4x400 meter relay where anything can and might happen.